Hey guys, welcome to another West Coast Mopars video. This will be, I guess, a part 2 on the 62 Plymouth Valiant. I put the car together. In the last video you guys saw, it was seized, or the engine was seized. The car had been ignored for at least 20 years. Yeah, so I put insurance on it. I drove it around town about a week. I took it down to our beach meet that we do, Qualicum Beach on Vancouver Island here, Tuesday nights. We meet up and everybody drives their old cars and we hang out and talk about whatever. And drove the car down there, and one of the guys that goes down to the beach, he drives a sort of a newer car. He said, hey, my wife really wants this Valiant. She saw some pictures I took of it and asked what I'm doing with it, and I told him my plan was to actually just sell the car, and hopefully somebody who wants to upkeep it and cruise it around can end up with it. And he said my wife had one of these back in high school and she really wants another. They're probably, I don't know how old they are now, they're older than me, but yeah, so I said sure, come on by, take a look, take it for a drive, see what she says. And she said, yep, I want it. But it's still here because they've asked me to do some work to it for extra cash before it goes, so that works out great. It's probably stuff I would have ended up doing anyways if I had kept the car. Get this window rolling up and down. They want to take it in a car cruise that's on coming up here, one of the car shows. They want to take it in the cruise. It'd be a good test for it, considering this engine was seized last week. But anyways, in the door here, this pin I have to cut off. That's how I had to get the other driver's side regulator out. And then this winder here is totally jammed. See if I can grab my wrench again. It just doesn't do anything. It's just rusted in here. Same thing as the other side. And so these rivets here, I drilled those out. I changed this, I took this gear out and I just cleaned it up and I put it back in on the other side, and then I just spot welded back where the rivets were. So that's the plan here. Another thing they want me to do eventually is put carpet in it for them, just to sort of help with some of the noise. It never had it when I got it. She wants, the woman wants new seat belts because these ones are pretty crusty and she wants something better. So put seat belts in, newer ones, I guess, better ones. And it does seem to leak exhaust pretty bad. I was thinking that when I was driving it around, I was almost getting fumed out. So the collector gasket down there, and then the intake exhaust gasket, it's just one piece. It's just kind of it's time consuming. I've done them before. It's sort of a series of steps you got to do to put the intake and exhaust manifolds back on at the same time. So I've ordered the gaskets for the collector and the intake exhaust, and the carb they want rebuilt because I didn't really rebuild it. I just cleaned it out. I didn't actually have an accelerator pump. So yeah, that's the plan. So I'll just take you guys along as I'm doing each thing here. This will be a part 2 on the Valiant. Okay, so I just drilled these rivets quickly here. Pop this off. You can see this thing is just crusty and full of stuff. So I'm just gonna pull this apart, clean it out. There's a spring in there, and last time the spring was just rusted to the case. So I'll clean it out and then I'll just weld it back together. Okay, here's what it looks like inside. So I don't know how well you can see that. There's sort of a coiled up spring in there, and it is just rusted to the side of this case. And when this thing spins, it pulls that spring. The spring goes in these grooves. So I'll just clean this up, get the spring out, sort of clean up all the rust, put it back together. Okay, I got this all cleaned up here. That's back in place. I lined the old rivets holes up with where it goes, and I'm just going to tack it because I don't have any rivets. And yeah. that's it. So spot welded that back in. I'll let that cool off, and then I'll put the whole unit back into the door here. And all I did last time was I just used a bolt with a nylock nut just here on the arm and bolt it back in place, and that seems to be all it is, because when you actually pull down on the arm here, the window does move, so I know it's not the actual linkage in here, it's just that regulator was stuck because it was rusted. Okay, got the window back in and the regulator and the winder. So yeah, now it's a little tight, but there we go. Winder down, winder back up. It's not the most perfect setup. Obviously not like it would have been new, but that's better than it was. Now when they go in the cruise, it's probably going to be smoking hot on Friday. They don't have to roast in there. So yeah, now I'm just waiting on the gaskets to arrive today. Okay, so the window's been done. Next on the list is pull the intake and exhaust. I pulled the carb earlier. I just got all the nuts and the special washers for the exhaust here off. Some of them came out of the head. That's too bad because it is a live head, or I should say the studs are live. Coolant is behind them, so I had to drain half the rad. Yeah, about to pull this off, and then got the gasket kit earlier. So yeah, I'll get this off and see what it looks like. I'm sure that gasket is just done. Hopefully that helps with the smell. Okay, pulled the intake off just now. There's not much left of the gasket. It's a bunch stuck to the head, but it was all cracked and definitely time to be done. But look at this manifold. Normally these exhaust manifolds usually have a couple cracks in them. That's a bad Slant 6 problem. Somebody did tell me the early 60s manifolds were better. I don't know if that's true or not. The exhaust there still works. Yeah, but this manifold is just beautiful. All the way down, not all split. Okay, so it's the next day here. This morning I just cleaned up the mating surfaces. There were some broken studs in the head, so I had to get those out. And I ran down to the hardware store and I had to grab some long bolts there, longer than anything I had here, because both studs snapped off in the manifold, you know, like you would expect it to. So I had to spend some time drilling the holes a little bigger so those would fit. I didn't want to bother threading them through. I just put nuts on the bottom. And so that's back together. I just torqued it down. It's only 10 foot-pounds it calls for. I guess I forgot. So I thought it'd be more, but whatever. I got to put the collector gasket in down there. And then up here I've just been adjusting the valve lash. I think it was this one or this one was, it was way out. It was probably, I don't know, 50 thou or something. So my little sheet here I've printed off years ago. You guys have probably seen the valve lash adjustment chart for Slant 6. It's intakes are 12 thou and exhaust is 22. So I think, yeah, the exhaust was like 50 thou or 60 even. It was way out. Okay, it's been a few days here, so the owner just called and said I'd like to come get it today, so I sort of just threw everything back together. Everything went pretty good. One of the holes in the head had already had it had already been drilled out and tapped with a Haley coil, so it's obviously somebody's been in there, like you would expect. No more exhaust leaks though, which is great. Right now I think it's just burning off a little bit of dust and oil and whatever was sprayed on there, but that alternator makes some weird sounds. I don't know if it's the brushes, something's happening. I might just try spraying the bearing with some lube. Hopefully it lasts. They want to drive it tomorrow night in the cruise for the car show here, the Father's Day car show. Well, that's like a 3 hours of bumper to bumper. So hopefully this thing doesn't overheat. I did warn them. You know, it should be okay. But definitely way quieter. Yeah, it's just burning off a bit of dust and stuff up there. Sorry, a bit of oil up there when I took it apart. I also had to, like I said, I had to drill those bolts out where they thread into the exhaust manifold. And I did a small carb rebuild. I just put the new accelerator pump in, a couple new gaskets. It seems to be way happier right now. We'll see once it's warm how it does driving around. Yeah, that alternator that's questionable. I don't love that, but. And I also did the valve lash. One of the exhaust valves was probably out like 60, 70 thou. Supposed to be, I think, 22 thou at cold, so it was out quite a lot. So it's what little mist that it had seems to have gone away. It's running way better. Yeah, I'll just let it get up to temperature. Hopefully it'll work out any air that might be in there. Oh, the thermostat just opened. I'll have to add some coolant there, but yeah, so far it's running great actually. So that'll wrap this one up, I guess. The guy's coming by in about an hour here, I think, to pick it up. Drive it home for the first time, so that's that one. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep subscribing. There's more stuff coming. It's not all Mopar. I do have a little a Falcon I picked up, and I've also got this this truck you guys may have seen in the background here. It's a 70, I think it's a 79 with an earlier grill, W200. So that's coming in the future here, and I've also got some old 50s stuff I got to go pick up and bring home. So there's more coming. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.